The area where I live is full of beautiful trees, beautiful forestry. And several years ago, I started making it a practice of mine to just, you know, during my lunch break or whenever I needed a break from making music or producing music or working on something in my office, to just go on a walk in the botanical garden or in a greenway. There's lots of greenways where I live. Beautiful pine trees, beautiful oak trees. It's a lot of trails. This season, over the last 6 or 7 years, I wrote a few songs that were meant mostly for YouTube, for music videos. Some I was planning on releasing as singles, and a couple I did. However, there was a few of them that I never put anywhere outside of YouTube. And so about a year ago, I decided to put these songs on just as a collection of songs. There was a few of them that I didn't release that sounded like one album. They sounded like they had a similar vibe, similar sounds, melodies, percussion, instruments, similar theme, if you will. And I decided to put them together as an EP. And then I thought, well, instead of just putting a few of them together, I would also reimagine a few other songs that had a similar vibe as the ones that weren't released, and then just make it a whole album. So that's what Buscando por la Luz, and Searching for the Light, ended up becoming. Is basically a theme of, a theme of songs that is informed by these walks. I'm actually out here walking at CCNC, beautiful course here on the grounds, and the birds are chirping. It's a little chilly, but it's still a beautiful, peaceful day. I'm at the ACC tournament and going to see a friend who's an incredible photographer, hang out with him, watch the youngsters hit some golf balls, and it's just gorgeous. If you can't find a trail to walk where I live, you can find a beautiful golf course. Matter of fact, there's about 40 golf courses just in the county where I live. Beautiful ones on top of that. Probably more than that, actually. So yeah, it's a lot of beautiful loblolly pines, dogwoods, azaleas, you name it. It's just a beautiful place to live and peaceful to write songs, especially the type of songs that I love to write, with a lot of nature and sounds, ambiance, and cinematic type vibe. It lends itself well to what I love to write.
All right, I'm shooting.
All right. I've been collecting percussion instruments for the last 25 years, and most of them are instruments that I actually play and not just collect. But some of them are older instruments that basically just sit in the studio and I don't really play. But a lot of the stuff that I collect or make, I play. A lot of them, most of my instruments here in my studio are percussion instruments. Percussion is my primary instrument, that being the congas specifically. But on this project, Searching for the Light, I said Buscando por la Luz, but Searching for the Light, a lot of the theme is driven musically, instrumentally by percussion instruments. And so that's a big part of the theme of the album. This is the Mbira on Sounds Just Like It. It plays the main melody for it. My mom bought this for me from Eswatini when she was on a trip. I love this instrument, beautiful craftsmanship. I love the sound. And I actually put it inside a calabash. This one actually, inside of a gourd. This one's from Motherland Music out of Gardena, California. That's in the Los Angeles area of California. I also play it as a kick, as a drum percussion, which is also done traditionally. And this was used on the road as well. Eric Perez played a beautiful conga pattern in the song sounds just like it that I used that mbira on, the instrument my mom got me. Eric has an incredible YouTube channel, Percussion Life, Eric Perez, and he's a very talented percussionist and very incredible. And I love what he did with the intro to that song and just the congas, period. George Freeman does a beautiful job on the piano there. It just puts the whole song into this whole dreamlike state, which is perfect for the lyrics and what the song represents, and what the song I think represents for me now, even listening back to it. It's just wonderful how they made that tune come to life. There are a lot of instruments that I've made or that have been given to me, DIY instruments. There's even the Bamboo Forest song, which was actually started out as a song that I put together for a instrument from Candu Cajones, which is a percussion company based out of Israel. And they have this really neat instrument that you strap around your chest or your waist, and it's a portable cajon. And I had the idea of making this video / song, part of it live in this bamboo grove that's not far from my house. I was just playing with the kids one day. We were out having a great day, beautiful weather, and we went to this park that's behind an arts council, and there's this gorgeous bamboo grove. And when I walked in there, it was more expansive than I thought, and I was like, man, I've got to do a video in here. So, but in the beginning of that song, I'm playing this plastic PVC hose, and it makes this sound. If you've ever had like I forget what they call it, like boom whackers, or you just basically they're like pieces of PVC that are flexible, and I guess it's not the boom whackers that you hit, but the kind of where you can just twirl and it makes this sound, like this whistling sound. And depending on the size and the length, it changes the pitch. So I basically have something like, that's a DIY instrument that I have in the beginning of that song and that video. So there's a lot of instruments like that I've used in these songs, Searching for the Light. But the whole project is woven together by this theme of hope and discovery through faith. Searching for the light, the main light, the light of righteousness, the light of Christ. Elder's Prayer is a very neat project and special for me, mostly because my aunt is on it. And my aunt was a very huge musical influence for me growing up. My grandfather, who's a preacher and minister and a talented on the piano and the organ, but he was always singing songs like Amazing Grace and other songs that he would sing around in his church. And when I was very, very, very young, and I got the idea for this song by watching a friend of mine's post on Instagram, and he plays the bass, and it was just, what he was playing was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous, and I just imagined this, I could imagine this whole scenario of ancestors, elders, people in my family, years ago praying for their children and their children's children, and about how people from now or back then, when we pray and we can say a prayer for our children and our children's children, how I imagine how God may honor those prayers, and how we currently are often talking not only testimonies of our own life, but answered prayers from those elders and ancestors years ago.
I was trying to wait for dun, dun. Yeah. Well, yeah. We just caught the last two.
The Elder's Prayer, part of it was recorded in California, in Riverside, California. My aunt recorded at an incredible studio out in California, and then I also did part of it in Winston-Salem in Stephen Lee Price's studio, a beautiful studio. I love to go over there whenever I get the chance.
I think it was overall with those changes.
Stephen and his wife Kate are very talented, and we filmed a part of it for the video in his studio as well. So that was a beautiful experience when we did Elder's Prayer, because that was also the first time that I was able to collaborate on a project of mine with Kier. We had played on the stage a couple years prior to that, and I knew I had to get Kier on something. So that was a beautiful day. Elder's Prayer has this connection between West Africa and the southern region of the United States. I wanted to use West African inspired bell patterns and combine them with gospel and soulful vocals, and as well as some fretless bass. Timmy Rayner added some beautiful bass to that as well, and then I added on top of all of that a lot of percussion effects and tried to give it a cinematic emotion, something you might hear in a movie, in the background of a movie, as they explain a journey, or as you see like if you were flying over a part of, a region or land. I filmed some of the footage in the beginning in Amelia Island in Florida, and right on the banks of a pond there, and it's amongst these mossy oaks. I love the way the mossy oaks look in South Carolina, all throughout Low Country and Florida and Louisiana and Mississippi. Especially on screen, there's something about it. It transports you to this whole other place, or me anyway, to this whole other world. And I believe it worked perfectly for the song, aesthetically, visually, and that helped me in continuing to finish the song. In the Bible, in Scripture, there are so many significant events that are also marked by trees, or trees play some type of role. And we see many instances where trees are analogous or metaphorical to us as people, to men and women, to created beings. I wrote a song titled Dancing Trees. I never released it anywhere outside of YouTube. It was a collaboration with harpist, a very talented singer-songwriter and harpist, Aaron Jones Fuson. And we recorded it here in my studio. It was one of the first video productions, music video performance productions that I did here in my current studio. In the song, the song is basically inspired by the scripture in Jeremiah, where the prophet talks about trees being planted by rivers and being prosperous. And in the song, I talk about how I discovered on a trail, personal discovery, that we are all like dancing trees searching for the sunlight. And I was imagining walking along a trail and just seeing these trees that are bending and moving amidst other trees and these canopy of trees. And the canopy of trees around them is basically causing them to move in certain ways and grow in certain ways so that they end up in this shape. But what's really happening is they're reaching for that light. And the theme of this album, there's a lot of trees marked by that, but also this theme of light, right? Elder's Prayer, which in the song he mentions the light is coming, and we also did that out in a botanical garden, one of the places where I just love to take a walk. If it wasn't raining today, that's where I would probably be with the family later, but it's a rainy day today. So throughout these songs, it's just there's this thread of of forestry and light and very organic. So it informed not only the these songs in the songwriting process, but also even the art of the artwork on the album. I also wanted to take a couple of the songs that I had put out already that are similar to these songs that hadn't been released and reimagine them. So for instance, Searching for the Light, Buscando por la Luz, which was filmed for the video in Charleston, South Carolina. That particular song features incredible flutist who is actually based in France. And on this one, I wanted to do a remix, or reimagine a song where the flute is pushed out in the front with the voice. So you have the percussion, the flute, and the voice. And The Road is another song that I reimagined or remixed on there, where I pushed the percussion out in the front. And on the one that's actually on streaming that I did release of The Road, I took out the imbira. The imbira, or the kalimba, actually is what I used to produce the song and write it in the beginning. So I ended up taking that out and taking a lot of that out as I continued to write the song. But I wanted to do a reimagined version where I put that back in and push it out in the front in the beginning and make it a more percussive and flute song. But the whole project, it basically is woven together by this theme of hope and discovery through faith, searching for the light, the main light, the light of righteousness, the light of Christ.
So we're in Charleston here, downtown, not far from where all the touristy stuff is. It's also where I shot the video for Buscando por la Luz a few years ago. A friend of mine, Adam Erickson, what's up, Adam? He actually lives down this way. He's a great videographer. He came out and brought his, I think he used like a Canon C200 or something like that. I actually forgot his gimbal, I think, or what have you. So it was an interesting shoot, but it was a beautiful day. It was perfect. There wasn't too many people out. Oh, look at this beautiful alleyway. Look at this beautiful alleyway, man. Charleston's full of this kind of stuff. And I wanted to shoot it here because the song is like a Afro-Puerto Rican, Gullah, Afro-Cuban, Latin jazz fusion. And Charleston's not too far from my home. It's a really neat area. It's kind of patterned after, I think, is it Barbados? And so it has that Caribbean vibe to it. So when we're gonna go down to, oh, here's another beautiful alleyway. All of this beautiful arts, these beautiful ironworks and archways and alleyways, they're all over the place. There's another one behind me, all over. But yeah, we're gonna go over to the fountain next as well. And I shot over there. That was really interesting, trying to shoot over there while all the tourists were trying to go to the big pineapple fountain or whatever it is, palmetto fountain. Yeah.
All right. Wait for these 3 cars and then we'll go.
All right. Ready?
Just 1 second. Yeah.
Oh, let me take this. Yeah, there we go. En el bosque, escucha otra vez. Another beautiful thing about Charleston is these cobblestone roads. There's quite a few of them. I don't know if they're, excuse me, coming in hot. All right, don't worry, I didn't sneeze on anybody. All right, and of course there's gonna be, no, I thought there was gonna be a car coming over here. But yeah, of course.
Take 2.
Yeah, take 2. So these cobblestone roads, this isn't the cobblestone road that I actually recorded on, but it's not far from here. And that's another thing that I love. This location's not too far from where I live, but it's as close as I can get without going really far to get that kind of island look for the video. But I love these historic cobblestone roads. Funny story. This is part of the Gateway Walk with the Garden Club a few years ago when I was getting ready to shoot the Buscando por la Luz music video. I kept trying to find this walk because I wanted to do some photography, and everything was closed up during COVID. So we walked around, and I was the only one that was nerding out about it, and everyone else was like, come on, let's go, because it was like really hot. And now we're just trying to walk to find the fountain, and all of a sudden we come up upon the start of it. So anyways, head to the fountain. So right down here is the pineapple fountain. Came out here really early in the morning so there wouldn't be anybody out here. I can't remember how early it was, but it was also during the weekday, so there was not very many people, but you can see right over there, there's beautiful fountain, and that's where I shot, see that fountain behind me in the music video. And it was pretty interesting trying to shoot it while there were still tourists going around, because we kind of wanted not to have like no one there, but also there wasn't like too many ideal spots because the sun was really bright, so we had to do the best we could. And yeah, it was getting hot that day.
I've always been drawn to sound since the time I was a young child. Since that time I was a young child. I remember growing up in Southern California. We had this, I don't know if it was a furnace or what have you, an apartment complex, and the Santa Ana winds, when they would come through, it would whistle through this vent. And I remember that sound and just being asleep at night, going to sleep and hearing. To this day, I'll make these sounds that when I would listen to and hear when I was a kid and annoy my family sometimes. Just walking through the house, making sounds. I remember being a teenager walking on a college campus that was nearby my high school to study for things like academic decathlon, and I remember paying attention to the leaves and during the fall scurry across the concrete as I would have one earphone from my Walkman off my ear and hearing the sounds of the fall of the autumn season while listening to Boyz II Men. And I loved how the sounds of the season would combine with the music that I was listening to. And I believe that informed the way that I make songs, the way that I make music. I write songs or write music, the way that I compose. Hopefully you'll enjoy this project. Check it out. It's been a journey, a discovery of sounds and ideas. And I think they all work together as a collection of songs. And I'm happy to share them with you.
All right, we are rolling.
Yeah, le lo le lo le lo le, yeah, le lo le.